Hello again. Project 5A, 5B, we're going to talk about today. We're in this video. So I've just uploaded, you'll notice in the week 14 area where I put the updated Project 5A and the updated Project 5B PDFs. I've also included this here, it's called P5 Report Structure PDF. So when you pull it up, it'll look like this. Here I have it also pulled up on my Google Docs here with Lumen. So I just kind of want to go over this with you. And I wanted to make sure that this is not necessarily a have to. Every single thing has to be included. This is more of like a suggested structure of things to think about and maybe what goes in some of the different parts of a proposal. Obviously, you can look at our text as it references in there from Markel, which I've realized I have not directed us too much to Markel this semester, so I apologize for that. But think about these things you can take advantage of. Do you have to have a letter of transmittal? No. Cover page is probably a good idea, right? Just in the situations, think about being formality. Table of contents obviously would be good. Obviously, we can think about in Project 5A right here in our so we have a summary, right? So it's once a summary. So that summary is referring to the executive summary. And then we get into the actual document of the paper, right? The paper. So we got the introduction. And the introduction talks about here. And then we have our proposed program. And so that's what this is kind of speaking to. We've got the introduction. Maybe we've got a background, and that's optional. You want to talk about your research and your methods. You want to talk about your possible solutions, if there's any criteria or evaluation, and what your recommendation is for this proposal, right? So it's a statement of solutions that you would be recommending on the preceding evaluation section or criteria section, which all has to do with what were your research methods and results, right? So we did secondary research, and a lot of you did some really, really awesome primary research, right? You sent out some surveys and did some things like that to really think about your proposed issue, right? Or the problem that you are looking into very specifically. This is a chance to now reveal and share this data with your audience. And so it would be right here in this area right here, which is loosely goes with kind of like you got the introduction, you've got this proposed program. So the proposed program, I can talk, has a lot to do with when you propose it, what did you do to come up with the possible solutions and what criteria or evaluation, if you have some, right, based on what, and then what your recommendation is. So you can break this up into these sections if you want. You can have introduction, and then maybe underneath your proposed program, you would then talk about your research methods and results, because that's leading up to what it is that you are going to actually ultimately propose. Because remember, this is a proposal, right? So you're proposing you're proposing a solution, you're proposing a recommendation, you can be proposing a course of action, you're proposing more of this or more of that or something like that to be done. So that's where this comes in. And so when it comes with solutions and criteria and evaluation, a lot of it has to do with depending on what your topic is, right? Depending on what your problem is it based on criteria, or is it based on evaluation, or is it based on feedback from a lot of times maybe your primary research, right? Is it based on data? And this is a lot of times too, when you bring that kind of data and stuff in, your results to all this research that you've been doing this semester, then you're good, right? Bring in what you found out. What did the results tell you? Why did they tell you that? Those kind of things. And so that's the kind of things that you want to focus in on, be thinking about as you're writing this. And then, of course, obviously you'll have references. And if you have any appendices, right, if you want to put in there, here's what our survey looked like, those kinds of things would go at the end. Any other type of maybe instruments that you used to measure or to think about the things that were in your introduction and your plan of your proposed plan section. And then, of course, too, feel free to use graphics if you want to use something to kind of really get that picture across to your audience as to that maybe that data that you got back that's going to support your recommendations or your solutions. Okay. All right. So that's kind of a quick overview of Project 5A and kind of these sections and kind of like expounding a little bit more on those. There's no one way that you have to do all those, but those are some things to be thinking about as you put your structure together.